Hello my dears, this will be a video for what is going to be happening for you February 2019. Here are our three beautiful decks, guys. Deck 1, Deck 2, and Deck 3. Really heavy energy right now. Not heavy in a negative way, just very intense. So you really can't go wrong. Whatever deck you pick, in my opinion, these are all pretty powerful powerhouse readings. More than one deck may resonate with you, and that's totally and completely fine. But and guys, this isn't going to be really about love life, so if you're looking for love life stuff or romance, I'll have links to the love videos in the description of the video. You can watch that after if you're more focused on love, but this is going to be other areas of life. So mainly spiritual growth or psychic development and stuff like that. So go ahead and take a look. Deck 1, Deck 2, Deck 3. Pause if you need to. Choose the deck that's jumping out at you, and we will get started. I will have timestamps for you as well. Okay, so we're going to start with deck number 1. Okay, so deck number 1. You've got hold your center. What does this mean? What does hold your center mean? You guys are going to have a whole lot of changes and shifts happening for you in February. We're coming out of that whole Leo eclipse blood moon, which is going to be sticking around for the next 6 months. So a lot of you are beginning to go through a lot of really major or massive changes, those of you who picked this deck. And for a lot of you, I am hearing and I am seeing the throat chakra. You are finding your voice. A lot of you are finally, after a very long time, finding the courage to speak up, to just be able to say that you don't like something or that you don't want something, or to be able to be speaking up and have the courage to say, you know, what your hopes are, or just giving yourself permission to want something. I feel a lot of you is going to be a big deal. I feel for a long time a lot of you have been living on autopilot and you're tired of it, and you don't want to live your life on mute. You don't want to live your life on autopilot, and you're beginning to have the courage to believe in yourself, to go after and do the things that you've always been curious about doing or trying. And as a result of this, some of you are going to be dealing with people who kind of make you feel weird about it or try to discourage you. But the beautiful thing that's happening here is you're holding your ground. But you're holding your ground in a very strong way, where you're not lashing out. You're not getting pulled into arguing. This person's not going to succeed in trying to get you worked up or trying to upset you. You're going to be able to be calm, and you're going to be able to just kind of go within and trust yourself and know your worth and know that you can do this. You're really, really getting very rooted, very grounded, really not even looking for anybody's approval outside of yourself in doing what you're wanting to do. So it's a very powerful way of being. You're coming into this quiet, powerful assertiveness. And when I say quiet, I mean quiet in the sense that you don't feel like you've got to go fight everybody about it. You don't have anything to prove. You're like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not going to get, trying to go converting people, or I'm not going to go trying to get people to see things the way that I see it or to convince them. You're very strong. You're very strong. You're very confident, and you don't have that fear of having to prove anything to anybody. And you don't have that fear of needing anybody else to give you approval in any way. Next card here, for those of you who chose this deck, is Fourth Ray of Harmony. So this is something very beautiful that's happening for a lot of you that chose this deck. Fourth Ray of Harmony is a card about how you may begin seeing how things that had initially seemed like problems, or things that initially you thought were wrong or bad in your life, were really just opening doors for really great things to come in or to happen. A lot of you are going to begin having realizations about your life, or revelations, so to speak, epiphanies. You're going to begin understanding why you met certain people, or why certain things happened the way that they did. And this is going to bring in massive amounts of closure for a lot of you. I feel that a lot of you who chose this deck, for a very long time in your life, you felt very much like an outsider. Like people hadn't accepted you, or people hadn't liked you. or you had situations where you thought like even, and this is coming in even though I know that I said that I'm not going to focus on love life. I'm not, but one thing is coming up for those of you in this card right now in this moment that Spirit is wanting me to share. I feel that for some of you, you've had this pattern in your love life where there have been people who seems to really care about you a lot, or even seems to be attracted to you or showing interest in you, and they would pull away or they wouldn't follow through, or, you know, and I think a lot of you thought it was because, oh, well, I'm not cool, or they're embarrassed to be seen with me, you know, thinking I'm not cool, or they're embarrassed to be seen with me, or whatever it might be. But the truth of it is that you're going to begin realizing why. You're going to be realizing why it didn't go anywhere. And it's for reasons that are going to surprise you. It's not because you weren't good enough. You're going to begin realizing that for a lot of you, people saw that you had potential to be something much bigger, and that they didn't know what to do with you. Not in a negative way, but just in the sense that you were too... You wouldn't fit in any like box or category. And maybe before you thought that that made you weird, or you didn't like it, but you're going to see how in this stage of your life, it's really going to be a massive blessing. And it's going to lead you to people that you're going to be much happier with than you would have been if you ended up with anybody from the past. For some of you are very happy in a relationship, and that's fine. But I'm speaking to those of you who have just had that pattern where you felt like, what is it going on? Why is it right when things are going to move forward, these people have pulled away? It's going to begin making sense to you. Next card here for those of you who chose this deck is Family of Light. Okay, so again, like I said, really nailing it home now. Those of you who felt like an outsider, or who felt rejected from situations. Maybe some of you didn't feel rejected in love, but maybe you felt rejected in work situations or family situations, or you just kind of always felt like there was really nowhere that you connected or belonged. You're beginning, as you're going through these changes, and as you're finally having the courage to be yourself and to live your life, and having these revelations that you're having, and going along your path to doing the things that are going to make you happy, whether it's being, you know, signing up for workshops, or whether it's being signing up for a class, or if it's just beginning to do something like you know, an activity or a hobby that's very healing for you. Although I feel a lot of you are getting involved in like spiritual learning, you know, you're going to begin connecting with your soul family. You're going to begin connecting with the people who are like you, who are different, who don't fit in a box, who don't fit in a classification or a category. And you're going to be so much happier with these people than you would have been if certain people or certain groups had accepted you. Believe me, all light workers really go through that. And you know, it's something I can relate to very much on a personal level as well. You kind of go through life feeling like an alien, you know, and there, it's weird. Life is weird. Dating is weird. Relationships are weird. Friendships can be weird. Work situations can be weird. But a lot of you are beginning to finally, as you're going on your path, you're finding your people, you're finding your tribe, you're finding those who are on the same level or same vibration. Family of Light is also about just being in a place of love and spreading love, and being in a place where you're not judging yourself anymore, you're not judging other people anymore, and you're just so free of that drama or that classist kind of mentality, you know, in seeing, you know, this person's better or that person's lesser than. You're free of that. You're free of that whole judging mentality, and you're just in a place of love, and you're putting love out there, and love is coming back to you. You're in a very beautiful energy in that way, or you're coming into a very beautiful energy in that way. Next card for those of you who chose this deck. Seventh Ray of Ritual, Order, and Ceremony. That's a mouthful, right? But this is basically about raising vibration, okay? You're coming up in a higher vibrational energy. Many light workers are really kind of, they come into a community, or they're born into a community where it feels a little bit heavy, in a sad way, or in a stressful way. It could even be that you might be around, or you may be used to being around people who aren't very emotionally expressive or who aren't very warm or lovey-dovey, because the whole path or purpose of the light worker, you know, they kind of get sprinkled all around the planet to bring in awakening, to bring in light, to bring in change. They're kind of like these little air filters that you know, purify air, right? So you were the little air purifier in your area or in your place, but you didn't know it. You hadn't been functioning maybe to that capacity or to that level. And now that you're coming into this awakening in the month of February, you are coming into this energy of being activated. You're coming into this energy of being activated. Okay? So, this is going to be raising your vibration, and you're going to be able to raise the vibration around you. Whereas maybe before in the past, every time you were happy, every time you tried to be happy or believe in yourself, maybe you had negative people that made you feel stupid for being happy. Or maybe you had negative people who made you feel stupid for believing in yourself, or who were mean to you or hurtful, and you would get pulled down. Or you'd start doing well in your life, and then people in your life became a distraction or pulled you away or made you feel selfish and pulled you into this low vibration. It's going to be the opposite of that moving forward. Instead of you getting pulled into their negativity, you're raising the vibration. You're that air purifier now. Instead of you getting pulled down, you're pulling the energy up. And people are going to have to either come up into that energy or let you float on away on your happy little cloud. They're not going to be able to get in your way. The seventh ray is also associated with Archangel Zadkiel. And Archangel Zadkiel is, you know, he's seen as like an, you know, energy raising, vibration energy raising angel. But Archangel Zadkiel is also associated with mercy. Okay, so forgiveness, just that peace. And a lot of the times, that's what keeps us unhappy. Like, sometimes even if we're not somebody who holds grudges, if somebody hurt us, we could be in resentment for a very long time. So it's possible to be bound to a person or a situation because of resentment, because of hurt feelings. But you're clearing all of that out. Anything that had hurt you, anything that you'd been holding on to, you're able to release. Anything where you were blaming yourself, where you felt like you were judging yourself or you were upset about yourself, you're able to release. Anything that was blocking that vibration being raised is being cleared out. Okay, next we have Ascension, the Rainbow Bridge. The Rainbow Bridge is a funny term, right? Like, we think Rainbow Bridge and we think of, like, you know, doggy and kitty heaven or something, or where the pets go when they die. But Rainbow Bridge in this sense has to do with the rays of light, or the colorful light that comes through as the chakras are opening up. Okay, because the chakras are different colors. So you see them here. You got the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So it's just basically that whole array of colors of the chakras. So a lot of you are going through a chakra opening up. You're going through, like I said, like a reactivation, right? You're coming to life, so to speak. Even though you've been alive and you're alive watching this, instead of existing, you're finally being alive. You're finally living, and you're remembering your identity, and you're remembering who you truly are, not who other people have told you to be. And the chakras are opening up, so you're going to be feeling confidence. You're going to be feeling self-love. You're going to be feeling your intuition. You're going to be feeling a lot of things that you haven't felt maybe ever in your life, let alone, if I were to say, for a long time. The one thing that also I would say is this, you know, you need to keep in mind with the chakra opening up. This basically means, my friends, that wherever you were blocked, you're becoming unblocked. Okay? It's almost like you're getting this complete and total energetic tune-up. Like, you're getting in tune. Anything that was, like, you know, any gunk that was clogging anything up is being removed. It's this complete and total energy do-over. like a remodeling that's happening within yourself energetically. So wherever you were blocked, it's being removed. I feel like February, for those of you who chose this deck, is really going to be about planning and the beginning stages of creating something very massive in your life. Very massive in your life. Like you're taking the first steps towards something that you're going to be doing in your life for the next, rest of your life, maybe. Having to do with your happiness, your growth, your goals, whether it's studying a spiritual path, whether it's making a career change, whether it's getting involved in a cause that's important to you, whether it's, coming onto your spiritual path as a spiritual teacher or doing something spiritually. You're beginning to take the steps towards feeling prepared to do this, gaining the knowledge that you need, making a plan, and you're making the commitment to yourself to do this. And for the first time, you don't care what anybody else thinks, right? And anything that was blocking you is out of the way. So it's go time. It's go time for you all. All right, thank you. We're going to move on to deck number 2. So those of you who chose deck number 2, first card here is Angel of Pleasure. Take pleasure in the things you do. So the immediate thing that's jumping out at me with this card, my dears, when I see this card, it makes me think of one of the main messages that Spirit has really been trying to put out there in a lot of my readings lately. Because so many people who are out there, who are on a spiritual path, and a lot of the ones that I've been encountering who've been coming to me for readings or who've been watching my channel, I have to say, guys, to my viewers, you guys are amazing. You guys have this humility where you're like, okay, maybe this hurt, but I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to be a better person from this. And okay, I needed the lesson. Thank you, universe, for the lesson. You guys are in a very beautiful place in terms of like being willing to grow. But what Spirit wants you to know is that not all lessons have to come from pain. They do in the beginning, until we wake up and until we realize that we deserve more. Like, you all have been, you comment and let me know. I'm sure you all have been in a situation where you've just been like, universe, please, I never want to feel this way again. God, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, whoever you connect to as a spiritual, teacher, or Allah or whatever, you may just been like, I never want to feel this way again. Please, please, please do not allow this kind of situation to happen to me again. Please do not allow me to suffer in this way again. I learned my lesson. I'm never going to do that. Like, you may have had those lessons where you're like, please, 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 never again. As soon as we get into that and like we learn and we begin to make changes because we're living our life in a more productive way and we decide that we don't want to be unhappy and we want to be happy, the universe begins giving us things to be happy about. And in the beginning, they could be very, very teeny. They could be very tiny. But we begin learning through that joy where we're like, yes, this is amazing. Thank you, universe. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so happy for this. Yes, please, more of this. And then we begin learning through joy. We begin learning through pleasure. For some of you, there could be some kind of healing that's coming because of maybe there was some physical trauma when you were younger, and maybe it's very difficult for you to be close to people intimately, like physically intimately. And I said that in the past in another video, and somebody was like, well, you're wrong, and intimacy isn't just, being physical, it's about connecting emotionally. Yes, obviously, yes, that's true. But when I'm saying it, I'm saying it in the sense of the physical term. I'm being polite instead of, some people get very uncomfortable with certain words and I don't want to trigger anybody. So I've been using the word intimacy, physical intimacy, okay? So some of you may be very uncomfortable with physical intimacy because of certain traumas or things that have happened. And some of you are beginning to come out of that. Or some of you maybe are finding healthy ways of expressing yourself in physical intimacy, whereas maybe before, because of the traumas, you were behaving in ways that didn't feel good to you, but you felt like you were supposed to be that way because the trauma had molded you like this is how you're supposed to be. So there could be some kind of like healing in terms of physical intimacy with some of you as well. But in general, it's basically coming into the energy of not all lessons have to be painful. Lessons can be joyous. They can be wonderful. They can be happy. And a lot of you are making that shift into learning in the happy way. Next card here for those of you who chose this deck is Goddess of Strength. Stand up for what you believe. You will gain respect by holding your ground. So one thing over the years I have seen this card to mean is basically, I'm trying to eliminate the glare and I think I made it worse. Basically, with this card is you're about to really make a really massive change in your life. People are going to be seeing you very different. They're going to be seeing the changes in you. And some people aren't going to like it. And I have to tell you, it's very unfortunate that even though you are bettering yourself, there's going to be certain people that are uncomfortable with the fact that you're bettering yourself because it was more convenient for them when you were a doormat, or it was more convenient for them when you were super easygoing and you just kind of went with the flow and you were just like there whenever they needed something. But as you start to become busy with your own life, or as you start becoming happy and occupied with other things, they're not gonna like that. It makes them uncomfortable. It changes the dynamic for them. So for some of you, you're gonna have to really stand up for these changes that you're making. For some of you, it will be your beliefs or your spiritual beliefs. But you're going to gain respect by others in the way that you're forming these boundaries in a peaceful way. I think a lot of you are learning how to deal with this opposition in a way where you're not getting pulled into the drama and you're just kind of really holding your ground. And over time, as these people begin to see how you are becoming a better person, some of them will come around. Some of them will respect them. I can tell you personally from my own experience, when I came on the spiritual path, there were certain friends that knew me for a very long time and they kind of panicked and they were like, oh, are you like worshiping the devil now? Are you becoming a witch? And they didn't understand what it was. Like, to them it was scary, or they thought I was getting into like really scary things. But then they're like, oh, okay, like, we see the positive changes in you. We see how your relationships with other people are improving. We see how you're being more loving in other ways. And they came around and they're like, okay, like, we don't really understand what it is, but okay, like, we respect whatever it is you choose to do, and we respect the way that you're living your life. So that's going to be the case for many of you. You're going through this change and people aren't going to get it initially, but you just keep being the best you. You don't have to convert them. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to prove to them that you're right. You just keep living your life and you keep being firm in your boundaries. You're coming into that like being respected energy. Angel of Healing. The angels have felt your sadness and have shown up today to send you healing. Remember how I was saying a lot of you, you're coming out of that time when you're like, oh my goodness, I never want to feel this way again. This is terrible. This is horrible. A lot of you have had, you know, more than enough of your fair share of suffering or pain in this life. And now, like I said, it's that positive time of learning from pleasure, learning from joy, learning from positive experiences. So the universe is beginning to send in those healing opportunities, those healing soulmates. And soulmates, guys, is not necessarily just romantic. We have non-romantic soulmates. We have spiritual soulmates who come in, you know, friends. Soulmate is not always romance or sex. Soulmate can be it can be an animal, obviously, because we're not going to do anything inappropriate with animals like that, right? You're just having that exchange of you know, love and caring and nurturing. You know, it could be a coworker, it could be a family member. Okay, soulmate is not always, you know, romance or a sexual thing. So Some of you are having people or experiences coming in, or soulmates coming in, who instead of coming into your life to crack you open through this pain for you to heal and to grow, they are healing, they are soothing, they are nurturing, they are being supportive. So it's that very positive shift in that way. Angel of Emergence. It's time for the real you to emerge. And that is the main message here, my dears. That is the main message here. See those butterflies? Those butterflies are a symbol of transformation. That flower, you know, flowers blossom, they open up, they bloom. That is a symbol of, you know, you blossoming and coming into your true nature, your true self. All those things that maybe before you hid about yourself because maybe you thought they were weird or different, you're going to realize are a thing of beauty. You're going to realize are things of you being very loved, you being worthy of love, you loving yourself, that uniqueness, those changes. And one of the things that's jumping out to me right here is like kind of like that third eye here. Okay, a lot of you are just more intuitively going to know what to do. You're very connected. And some of you are coming out of the mystic's closet, so to speak. I feel that very strongly. Some of you are embracing your own spiritual gifts and your own spiritual path. And you're not going to be embarrassed about it anymore. Some of you are coming out into the open in that way. Maybe not all of you. And maybe some of you are still in a situation where you're not ready. Or you feel like it's not time. Or you feel for whatever reason that it might not be safe right now. And I can understand that, you know, but you may be coming out to yourself, some of you. Some of you are just to yourself accepting this about yourself. And you're working on taking the steps you're being guided to take to allow yourself to be true to yourself while still being cautious or respectful or whatever it is you feel like you need to be doing. But a lot of you are like, it's time to be me. It's time to be me. And you're really, really having a new appreciation for yourself. Some of you may even be falling in love with yourself in a very non-narcissistic kind of way, in a healthy way. Next card here is Angel of Manifestation. Your efforts, determination, and perseverance have paid off. It's going to become a lot more automatic for a lot of you to be able to manifest the things that are bringing you joy, okay? You're not going to have to try so hard. You're not going to have to spend so much time vision boarding and trying to visualize. You're being connected. You're in tune. The more you're in your joy, the more you're connected with your higher self, your higher power, things function a lot more automatically, like clockwork, like a machine, you know, moving forward, like a car engine that's just constantly pumping and doing what it needs to do to keep moving that car forward. You're coming into that kind of smooth flawlessness. You're coming into that running smoothly. All right, my dears, thank you. Deck number 3. This video is becoming a lot longer than I had intended. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Okay, this is the whole thing of if you knew you wouldn't fail, what would you do? Okay, it's the whole kind of principle here. So a lot of you guys, you need to trust in yourself. And I think a lot of you are at this really massive crossroads and you feel it's time to make a really big change, but you're afraid to do it. You're scared to do it. And the universe is saying trust your intuition, trust your guidance. You know, if you've had this nagging feeling for a really long time that it's been time for you to do something, the universe is asking you to trust it. The universe is asking you to go along that way. If the reason why you haven't done it is because of fear, you know, ask, you know, you can definitely call on Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. I love to work with them in situations of removing fear. And just ask them to remove the fear from your heart. Ask them to fill your heart with the love and light of, you know, God, universe, whoever it is that you resonate with. I personally use the term God, and I will, you know, ask God. I'll say, God, please fill my heart with your love and light. Please fill my heart with your love and light. Archangel Michael, be with me. Archangel Raphael, be with me. Remove all fear, you know. Like, that's something that I personally would do. So whatever resonates with you in terms of whatever kind of affirmation you need or whatever you need to do to clear. But I can definitely say that, you know, working with the archangels and that energy really has helped me and many people that I know. But that might not resonate with you. It's a matter of you finding what resonates with you and doing what you can to eliminate that fear and to put yourself in that bubble of safety and trust and following your guidance and following your intuition. Okay, next here we have Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? You may have, as you're going off on this path and as you're going off on these changes, and as you're waking up, you're going to see things about other people that you don't like. And you're going to see things that maybe are upsetting you or making you angry. And when we have things in our life that make us angry, it's happening for a couple of reasons. Number one, sometimes, okay, if you're not trusting yourself, you don't want to move forward, you're not trusting yourself, the universe will create things to make us so uncomfortable that it forces us to move forward. It forces us to make changes. It lights that fire under our butt to get us going. That's one of the reasons why we have things that aggravate us. Another thing is because we see in other people or situations things about ourselves that we don't like or that we need to change, or ways in which we've been very hurt. So for example, say somebody really has a very strong dislike for a certain type of personality, or like, okay, how can I put this? Say somebody has a really strong dislike for, you know, people who talk really loud, like or I don't know, I'm just giving like a very superficial example here, and you might be like, well, it's not that big of a deal, right? But like, it really gets on them, on their nerves, and they get very worked up about it, they get very angry about it. It could be because when they were younger there was a lot of yelling in their home, or there was, you know, somebody who talked really loud that treated them very badly, and so when they hear somebody talking loud, or they hear like really loud noise like that, it triggers them subconsciously, and they feel all of those scary feelings they felt when they were younger or when they had those bad experiences. So sometimes the triggers are helping us to see what is inside of ourselves that still needs to be healed. So either the people or things that are making us upset are showing us things inside of ourselves that we do too, that we don't like, that we're not proud of. For example, maybe somebody is very dishonest, and they get really mad when they see other people getting dishonest. And somebody's like, oh, well, that's the pot calling the kettle black, or whatever, however the saying goes. Well, okay, but sometimes people don't realize that. They just know it's something about themselves that they don't like, and then they see somebody else doing it, and it makes them upset because it's something within themselves they haven't resolved. Or it's, like I said, it's just something that's triggering an old pain. So if something is upsetting you, and if you pick this deck, chances are there's going to be things happening in February that are setting you off or annoying you, or you might feel crankier than usual. It's a part of your awakening. And just sit down and think and ask yourself, when have I felt this way before? What is this person or situation reminding me of? How is that making me feel? What can I do to clear or to heal this? You know, these are good questions to ask yourself as you're clearing that energy. Next card here is Inner Temple. So as you're having these situations of aggravation, it's going to be really important for you to go within. Okay, this is devotion, tuning into the portal of your heart. This is finding inner peace. This is having your connection with God, with universe, with your spiritual higher power, so that no matter what is happening around you, no matter what is happening with the people in your life, you are in your peace. You are not allowing anyone or anything to rob you of your peace, because you're about to make some really massive changes, and you don't want to let these things become distractions or to take you away from them. The more you're in your connection, the quicker these positive changes are going to happen, and you can get out of whatever situation is aggravating you. I've said it before in other readings, you know, where the mind goes, the body will follow. Where the mind and heart go, the body will follow. So if you can get your heart and your mind in peace, then your body will be in a peaceful situation. And for some of you, this could very well be physically being able to leave a place, which is going to happen once you are at your zen, at your center, at your spiritual connection. So I feel some of you... Oh, did we skip a card? Oh, this is the last one. Okay, so here is what you have is no, wait, postpone, pause, say no. Okay, this doesn't mean that you're going to say no to every single thing in your life in February. It does mean, I'll tell you what it means right now. We talked about your inner peace, right? As you're achieving this, and as you're just like, you know what, I'm not going to let this negativity get me down, and you're finding that zen, you're finding that peace, and you're doing well, you're going to find a lot of people begin pulling on you. They begin wanting your help. They begin wanting, like, they just see you as you don't have any problems, and you have problems. You're just not letting them get to you. And you all know what that is. I'm sure some of you have already experienced it, where, like, you're having a really good day and you feel really good, and you're just beginning to take a breath, and all of a sudden somebody reaches out and needs something from you. Somebody's having an emergency. It's because energetically these people are corded to you, and they're like, oh, okay, well, this person's like, subconsciously anyway, this person's really happy. I want some of their happiness too. I'm going to go tap into them. I'm going to go reach out to them. And so you're like, oh my goodness, like the 1 second I'm just catching a breath and I'm happy, you know, somebody has a fire they need me to handle. These are the situations in which you're going to say no. These are the situations in which you're setting boundaries. You cannot run and rescue everybody, okay? Right now you're focusing on you. Right now you're focusing on being in your temple. You cannot run and rescue every single person. You have to set boundaries. You have to make time for you. You know, if something doesn't feel right in your gut, or you don't want to do something, don't let others pressure you into doing it. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your gut. I think that because a lot of you are beginning to have this really massive shift, there's going to be negative energies that try to come in and distract you from it, or to keep you from it. Have the courage and give yourself permission to say no when you need to say no. If, you know, you need to turn your phone off for a little bit and take a break, turn your phone off for a bit and take a break. You know, if you don't want to go and do that favor, or if you can't lend that person that money, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad to say no, because right now you are going through your activation. You are going through your healing. You are going through your growth, and that takes a lot of energy, right? And you need to invest in yourself. You've invested so much in everybody else. Right now it's time for you to invest in yourself. Next, we have awakening. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. I feel very intuitively, a lot of you who chose this deck, you have felt stuck very long time in a certain job or in a certain living situation, and you've tried to leave. Some of you have left more than once, but you've gone back. You'll have to let me know, those of you who've had that experience. Or have tried to leave and it never seems to work out. And remember what I was saying here about where the mind and heart is, the body will follow. It's gonna happen. In February, the big steps are happening. You're gonna land that big job interview, or you're gonna have the financial breakthrough, or you're gonna find the perfect living situation, and you're gonna get ready to go and like apply for it or try to get into it, or whatever it might be. As you're energetically upgrading, you're being lifted up. Like, this almost feels to me like a rapture here as I'm looking at her. So a lot of you are feeling all of a sudden like, wow, I'm being lifted out of this God-forsaken place, or this God-forsaken situation. It's because of all of the work and all of the healing that you've done. A lot of you are waking up and you're finally seeing the